Hello and welcome to World Talks on TVP World with me, Hashim Kumar. As the EU and UK ramp up pressure on Moscow, the newly approved 17th package of sanctions targets Russia's shadow fleet, arms industry and human rights abusers. Coordinated transatlantic action aims to force a 30-day unconditional ceasefire in Ukraine. With Brussels buzzing from a pivotal EU-UK summit and fresh momentum for further sanctions, we speak with Michał Matlak, his policy advisor at the European Parliament, to unpack what's inside the package and what's next for European support to Ukraine. Hello and welcome to TVP World, Mr. Matlak. Thanks for taking the time.
Hello and good morning.
Good morning. So, all right, so new package of sanctions, 17 of them. What are they targeted at and how effective do you think they will be in terms of getting Putin to the negotiating table?
It's the 17th package and the 18th is
Sorry,
being prepared,
17th,
so it's part.
yeah.
No. I think you mentioned the right number. But what I wanted to say is that this is the 17th package, meaning it's part of a kind of in general a policy of the EU after the full-scale invasion started. Actually, after the first invasion started, but the level of and the intensity of sanctions was obviously much lower then. But after the full-scale invasion in 2022, in general, Europe is leading on sanctions. It used to lead together with the US. Now it's more the EU plus the UK, as you said. But this is a continuation. So they include, for example, many more shadow fleet ships. If I remember correctly, it's 189. So a big number of ships being used by Russia to transport crude oil and sell it to other countries. They include individuals, companies, which are part of the war effort in Russia. So this is the continuation of EU policy of sanctions, and as I said, the 18th package is already being prepared. So there is this view in Brussels that Russia needs to be pressured. That the sanctions are working, even if they are not working in a fast manner, and that this is the good way to proceed with Russia.
But 17 sanctions and 3 years of war. And Russia simply seems to be doubling down on its violence in Ukraine. What's really going to impact Russia's ability to wage this war?
Sanctions are impacting Russia's ability to wage the war, but it's true that the EU doesn't have kind of enough power. The US don't have enough power to stop the war. But they can weaken Russia, and this is what they're doing. They make Russia's economy weaker. It managed to function despite these sanctions. This is true, but this is hard. This is not easy for Russia. This is why the sanctions are being put by Russian leaders always as the first point of the negotiation. So they are really waiting for changes in this domain. It's definitely not enough. It's definitely not working as many leaders thought, many European leaders thought before. But it doesn't mean that they are not working, that they are not challenging Russian economy. One of the reasons why it's not challenging in a way that we thought it would is the system built mostly with China, which is helping Russia a lot, and this allows Russia to continue the war effort. There are also other aspects we can talk about them. Why Russian economy is functioning despite the sanctions, but it doesn't mean that this is not a huge problem for Russia.
Understood. Now, I want to move on to Trump and the UK in just a second, but before I do that, there is a question on enforcement against the shadow fleet. Estonia tried to stop a vessel carrying oil to Russian waters, Just a few days ago, the vessel refused to stop, and it got through to a Russian port. Now, is that indicative of what they'll do each time, which makes the sanction completely ineffective?
This is for sure a warning. I absolutely agree. But here I see improvement in a sense that Baltic states, together with Poland, and Nordic countries, are working on how to secure the Baltic Sea, and I think that this effort will help in this kind of situations, and they will have to enforce the sanctions approved by the EU.
Okay. Now to President Trump. He seems to be moving away now from the sanctions and the negotiations process. How important are US sanctions in terms of effectiveness on Russia?
They are important. I mean, the US and the EU have coordinated their sanctions policy, so it worked. It was obviously done mostly with the Biden administration, but Trump didn't change this yet. The EU actually called on the US yesterday to continue to move forward with sanctions. We'll see what will happen. There is a movement in the American Senate led by Republican Senator Lindsey Graham to strengthen the sanctions. Actually, so it's not impossible that the US will move forward. As in the EU case, they are not working as effectively as we thought, but it doesn't mean they are not working. They are not hurting Russian war economy. So I'd say that this is. How
much of a difference would the US sanctions actually make? I mean, would that really stop Putin in his tracks?
More US sanctions?
Yes.
Probably not stop, but just make his life more difficult. The more, I mean, we don't have kind of complete data about Russian economy, and above all about the kind of attitudes in the Russian society. The idea behind the sanctions is that the society and the elite should understand that just the war is too expensive. So we don't know where is the point where it would become really kind of unbearable for the society. Thus, it could block the war effort. I'd say. Again, that they are not working as effectively as we thought, but it doesn't mean that they are not hurting Russian economy. And
okay, so slowly turning the screw. In the last few seconds that we have left, I want to talk about the rapprochement, if you like, between the UK and the EU in terms of sanctions. The UK has just issued sanctions against certain industry sectors, energy, finance, and so on. What can you tell us about that relationship? Are the two, the UK and the EU, are they working more closely together than they have in the past?
Yes. As you know, on Monday there was a summit, the EU-UK summit. It was important. It showed that the EU and UK are starting to work together on issues related to security, but also to issues kind of to more economic issues. A security agreement has been announced. So there is a clear sign of rapprochement, as you said. How far it will go and what are the details? This is yet to be negotiated. There is the will to include the EU, the UK, and the kind of European architecture, but security architecture, but also economic architecture. The economic part is probably more important for the UK. This is a very important sign, but now we have to wait for the details, because there we'll see, how close this relationship will be. Just one last thing is that, as you know, there is also opposition within the UK. There is a Reform Party led by Farage, who's very much trying to create the impression that the Brexit is being overturned by Starmer, which makes it more difficult for the UK government. But for now, it seems that that the EU and UK are really working together.
Aligning more on the sanctions front. Michał Matlak, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing your analysis with our audience. I'm afraid we have to end it there, but do come and see us again soon. Bye-bye now.
Of course. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And that brings us to the end of this episode of World Talks. Don't go away, though. Lots more coming up. Goodbye.